What's up, everybody? Nick Powell's publisher of 1851franchise.com and CEO of The Growth Club. So, the question today is, how does franchising work? Well, there's a lot to break down. If you're watching this video, there's a ton to break down on how franchising works, and you're not going to learn it all in this video. If you go to 1851franchise.com and click on the Learn tab, we actually have a masterclass on how to buy a franchise that is free if you would like to use that as a resource. Now, how does franchising work? In essence, it is a form of licensing that someone came up with some business concept, and this is more of a founder-driven brand. Someone came up with a business concept, they started it, and they said, let's franchise this. Typically, a friend or a consultant said, you have a great business opportunity that more people would enjoy being a part of. So they go through the process of franchising their business. Now, depending on the state, they have to file an FDD, which is the franchise disclosure document, that if you decide that you're interested in talking to them, they will disclose this as a part of their process. Now, when you have decided or made the decision that you want to buy a franchise, this is what I want to primarily focus our discussion on. How does this work? So you've decided, I want to own a food brand. Well, let's take a step backwards and look at how much cash do you have to invest in a business? Because sometimes you'll hear these franchise fees. If you're a prospective buyer and you don't know much about franchising, you hear these franchise fees, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. That's just the fee that you have to pay. That's not your all-in investment. And so when you start looking at the entirety of what is the opportunity, there are many other costs that go into it. If you're opening up brick and mortar, a storefront, you're going to have build out, signage, equipment. If you're in food, you need your food supply. And so the investment continues to increase depending on what field you're going into. So my recommendation, and you'll see this if you're reading on the Growth Club or you hear me speak about franchising, is the rule of three. And the rule of three is, if you can't afford or aren't comfortable with the concept of having 3 locations or 3 territories of the brand that you're looking to buy into, then that's not the right brand for you, because your dollars, your capital is going to be too tight, and you risk becoming stressed, because if you deplete your capital and there's no more cash, you're going to panic. And panic in franchising or when you're opening a business is the worst thing to do, because then everything continues to slide backwards and your odds of success deteriorate. So rule of three, do you have enough money to afford 3 of these units? Now, there are financial resources that exist to help you finance your business. There's a Small Business Association. If you search for the SBA, you'll see what opportunities are there. You have your local bank. If you look for franchise financing, you'll see those as opportunities. So there are plenty of opportunities to help you finance your business. And so if you look at how much cash do you have, you could almost look at it similar to buying a house. Like, how much money can you actually put down? And so you look at those opportunities, that how much money can you put down? How much can you finance? And now you start looking at the rule of three on what you can buy. Now, at this point, you've decided how much cash you have. Now you start looking at what opportunities fit into that box. And you'll see me talk about what are the things that should stand out. It's the vision of the leadership. Do you believe in them? Can you see a point of differentiation in the product? And can you get behind their product or service that they're offering? Can you open in the market that you want to open in? Does the cost to get in, is that sound with how much you could potentially make? And we'll talk about earnings claims and what item 19 in the FDD means, which is where a franchisor discloses how much the average or various numbers as exist back to the franchise brand. We'll get into that later. And then validation, which I end up thinking is the most critical part of it, is when you ask other franchisees, would you do this again? They say, absolutely, 100%, I'm in. And so you break down, what is your process of determining the brand after you've worked through the rule of three. Now you know what you're going to start studying. And now comes my ultimate recommendation that you've broken it down. You said you want to own a home service brand, you want to own a mobile brand, a pet brand, an education brand, a food brand, and you've broken it down and now look at 3, 4, 5 brands in that category. So at least you can look at what are the opportunities that exist. That's the beauty of franchising. If you go on the web, you're going to find thousands of them. The number that we hear is 4,000 different franchise opportunities. I don't know what the true number is. But when you go around the web and you start searching for this, you'll see there are tons of opportunities. So now if you've road mapped it, how much can I make? What fits into the structure of what I'm looking for? And now looking at different brands that are in that segment to start figuring out which one makes most sense. Now, when you inquire, you're going to the table a little bit more prepared. Now, on the inquiry, the last thing that I want to say when it comes to inquiring about a franchise opportunity is there's no cost to inquiring majority of the time. And therefore, just asking for more information or having a conversation with the franchisor could be worth your time because you can have kind of a gut check. Do you feel confident or comfortable with the person on the other side of the phone? Do you like the information that they're providing? Do you feel like they're open and honest and transparent in their process? And so when you've gone now to inquire, now you can have a point of view. It goes all the way backwards to what can you put into it. So franchising at that point is now, it's an opportunity for you to invest money to operate a business, or sometimes there's absentee, and you're going to invest into this business opportunity and hopefully start scaling it so that it can have impact on the wealth that you're trying to build for your family. So it's very complex. It's not as simple as saying, I want to own a pizza brand. Let me open up the pizza brand and I make money. It's complex. But when you break it down to how much can I spend, what aligns with my passions and my purpose, and then what exists in that category, and making sure that the brand that you're looking at aligns with what those mission and visions are that you've laid out, now you have a process to go into franchising. So it's complex, but this is why we're giving you all this information so that you can get comfortable with what franchising is.